Welcome back to Let's Play Alan Wake. As you may very well know, we're on our way to reach the gas station that supposedly offers a safe harbor. But just how safe is it? I mean, with anything else going on, what with an axe murderer by the name of Carl Stuckey running around with the vengeance, we can't really take anything for granted right now. But we'll continue on our mission to try to figure out just what is going on here. Anyway, let's go. Three ammo now. It's good.
The cabin on Cauldron Lake? She asked. The sheriff looked at me suspiciously. The early morning light flooded through the office windows. I would probably never have gotten out of the woods alive without her help. But I couldn't tell her the truth of what I'd faced the previous night. She'd think I was lying or crazy. She'd lock me up, and she wouldn't help me find Alice.
So there's this little manuscript page basically saying that supposedly a sheriff or the sheriff of Bright Falls comes to help out Alan Wake out of this mess, but he cannot trust her to not lock him up if he said, oh look, I shot a whole bunch of people, even though they were creepy little monsters, because she'd lock him up for murder. Of course, it doesn't. Of course, that makes a whole lot of sense because he did shoot some people, and as you see, there's a lot worse things that's gonna come. Man, I'm almost dead. That's not good. Okay, got some ammo for my shotty.
Science. It bestows immortality on those who advance it to elevate all of mankind. Newton, Einstein, Sagan, princes among men. But the price for such a legacy is steep indeed. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, a quantum suicide. If our lives are already written, it would take a courageous man to change the script. Having called a press conference, Dr. Barclay Colvin is about to demonstrate that very courage.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am Dr. Barclay Colvin, and I'm glad so many of you could join me here at the Moorcock Institute. Tonight, I'm going to give a practical demonstration of the many worlds interpretation. As you can see, this is a loaded 9mm pistol. It shall be part of a thought experiment. And now, a real experiment, known as a quantum suicide.
Did he say suicide? Is that a real gun? He's kidding, right?
Please, stay calm. There is no risk. Observe what occurs when I place the weapon against my own forehead. Now, you might think this round is merely a dud. Not so. Observe the flower pot. And yet, I myself cannot be harmed with this gun. With each pull of the trigger, 2 new realities branch off. One in which the weapon didn't fire, and one where it did. With my machine here, I have ensured that this reality is always the former. I have bestowed upon myself quantum immortality. Under no circumstances can this gun kill me.
So wait. What you're saying is that every time you pull the trigger, in another reality, you die?
Yes, of course, but that's completely trivial. There's an infinite number of things that could happen at any moment, and they always do happen somewhere. The point is, this one thing did not happen here.
You're insane, Colvin.
Insane? Insane?
Hey, was this thing supposed to be plugged in? I stumbled on it.
You fools! Gaze upon quantum immortality.
Poor Dr. Colvin, felled by his own hubris or the ignorance of the masses. Perhaps he should have left the crate unopened, the decaying atom unobserved. Curiosity often kills the cat. In Night Springs.
So as you can tell, there's all these little hidden TVs everywhere in this game. Each of one produces a specific episode in Night Springs. Think of it as more of a lighthearted Twilight Zone, where they take certain, how do I put it? Certain facets of certain things, well, I just used to word things, and put them into an episode that lightheartedly, but with a more, how to put it, more of a mild tone. It's dark, but it's not too dark, and they use that to help further out the story, but not the story of this game. It's just different little random things you can find, kind of like those audio commentaries that you used to find back in the day. Basically little Easter eggs. But we'll continue trying to find as many as we can, because this one is just fascinating in its own right. Great mortars, guys. Don't know what that did, but I guess I'll find out.
Stucky's body vanished, leaving behind only a lifetime of nightmares to come, assuming I'd reached the lights of the gas station alive.
Yeah, that was a sort of intense fight. I have a feeling it only gets worse from here. Would be just my luck after all. And a coffee thermos. Okay, nothing else here.
I recognized the parade float I had seen in Bright Falls when I first arrived with Alice. After the insanity I had just experienced in the darkness, the lights of the gas station felt comforting, at least for a moment. The sane world reasserted itself. Stucky spat on the garage floor and tried to shake the cobwebs from his head. Ever since the couple never showed to pick up the keys, things had been fuzzy. Something, a feeling, caught his attention. Stucky looked up and stared as his brain tried in vain to process the horror before him. He stumbled back, knocking over a can of oil. A black pool spread across the floor while he struggled for a brief moment, then let go as the unrelenting darkness engulfed him.
So the basic way to just say is how people get taken, or in this case get surrounded by the darkness. Basically, a huge swath of black, or in this case, darkness, comes up and swallows you whole. Kind of like, how do I put it, the Heartless in Kingdom Hearts, where you had this little dark, whereas in Kingdom Hearts you had this little dark pool that surrounded you, and you just sink into it. In Alan Wake, you have a pool, you have this immense wave of darkness that flows over you, kind of like when you turn off the lights in your house, except it's pitch black, no lights to illuminate anything, and then it just engulfs you, and all of a sudden you don't see anything, and next thing you know, your body is completely taken over, and you can just watch helplessly as it does the actions, as it makes you do murderous or even heinous actions, even killing a puppy if it wanted you to.
The Deer Fest had been 2 weeks away when we arrived. If the day count on the banner was right, I was missing a whole week between the night we got here and now.
So yeah, so now it's looking like he was in that car knocked out for a week, or at least something happened that caused him to lose an entire week, and that's also supposedly a main facet of the storylines, that he's trying to come up with just what exactly happened during this entire week. I mean, when you lose an entire week, anything can happen. I mean, very strange things like, say, your daughter grew up, got pregnant, or your son went out and did some crazy stuff. So, we'll be finding out just what happened in this week.
I had to get inside the gas station to find a phone to call for help.
Nothing here. Oops.
The garage was a mess. It looked like someone had trashed the place, or that there'd been some kind of fight.
In that fight, as the little manuscript page showed, was Stucky getting engulfed by the darkness.
All right. I'll keep writing. Outside, there's only darkness. Outside the cabin, outside the story, there's only darkness. I can feel her presence in the dark. Just now, I could smell her perfume in the room. I'll reach her. I'll fix it. I'll bring her back. The story will come true. If I stop, she's lost. I don't believe this. It'd been me on the TV, talking crazy. Was I losing my mind?
Basically, now we're seeing that either Alan Wake is experiencing some type of parallel universe, or this guy on the TV is actually what's happening right now, and all of this is just his story that he's living out, or something else more sinister is going on. I guess we'll see as we continue. The 68th Annual Deer Fest, September 15th to the 18th. Games and activities, raffle tickets, fishing competition, pie contest, and surprise competitions. Live music. For the children, Bucktoothed Charlie Afternoons and Montgomery the Mystic's Amazing Phantasmagoria Evenings. Don't miss the legendary Deer Fest Parade. Okay, that doesn't seem like that's gonna be happening now. Or at least anytime soon. Sucks for the kids though.
Bright Falls Sheriff Station.
Oh, thank God, Sheriff.
Sheriff Sarah Breaker. You are...
I'm Alan Wake, but listen. I was in a car crash. My wife, Alice, she's missing.
Calm down, Mr. Wake.
We were staying in a cabin on the island, on Cauldron Lake.
There's no island on Cauldron Lake. Not since the big eruption in the 70s.
Please, I can take you there, okay?
You look like you've taken a pretty bad knock to the head. Are you okay?
Listen.
We'll figure this out. Please get in the car. We'll swing by the lake and then we'll go to the station, okay? Mr. Wake, have you seen Stucky, the guy who owns this place?
I realized I couldn't tell her what had happened in the forest. She wouldn't have believed me. And then she wouldn't have helped me with Alice.
Candy-colored clown they call the Sandman.
And as you just noticed, the cauldron was never there. It was basically just a hallucination that Alan Wake was having when he saw that old woman. Most likely that's what put him into this story. Funny enough, the fact that it wasn't there is just basically a huge tease to what's to come. This is only going to start. Now let's begin episode 2.
Previously on Alan Wake. I came to Bright Falls with my wife, Alice.
Thank you for coming here with me. I thought maybe you could write here.
I don't want to hear it! God damn it, Alice! Now, she's missing. Alice? Alice? I woke up behind the wheel of a crashed car. I'm missing a week. I was attacked by shadowy men straight from a nightmare. The sheriff took me to the lake Alice and I had stayed at. But the cabin had disappeared.
Episode 2, Taken. New York City 3 years ago.
Honey, I'm home.
Back here, sweetie. How was it?
Worst weather I've ever seen.
You should put some coffee on. It'll warm you up.
It's true what they say about the fall and the sudden stop at the end. I'd lain here in the snow while the lurid chain of scenes that had led me here kept playing in my head. A rerun of my own private snuff movie. A memory of my corpse. Alone at my own wake. Thinking in metaphors again. The femme fatale was gone. Only a sour taste remained of the kiss that killed me.
So this must be talking about someone else. Though, we don't know who exactly it is talking about. I guess we'll see.
This was a late goodbye. 13 years after I'd gotten my revenge. It had finally caught up with me. It had been a long time to bear the pain. My blood painted the snow red. A gruesome slushy dissolved all the scattered painkillers and leisurely dripped down to the sewer, mingling with the bile of the city, becoming one with it. I can see them now, my wife and my baby. Honey, I'm home.
So this isn't part of the story, but it's a nice little callback to Max Payne. I mean, once you realize, I mean, they talk about the scattered painkillers which Max Payne took, and the fact he was shot, which he was in Max Payne. I believe Max Payne 2. Could be the first Max Payne, my memory's fuzzy on it. And even the voice is Max Payne's voice. It's a nice little callback to the game that put Remedy on the map. And I actually am surprised they did this. I mean, I just realized it now. And there's all of Alan Wake's books, including The Return of Sender, What I Can't Forget, Alex Casey, The Things That I Want, The Fall of Casey. Oh! So the Alex Casey and The Fall of Casey books are actually another call out to Max Payne. Because think of it, Alex Casey is Max Payne, and The Fall of Casey is The Fall of Max Payne. Max Payne 2, in other words. So Remedy has a whole lot of calls to Max Payne, especially since Max Payne took place in New York almost entirely. Well, Max Payne 3 is different, but Max Payne 1 and 2 did take place in it. There's even movie references I bet some of you can get from this. Also, the 2 dual magnums, those are also, or 2 dual Colts rather, those are all Max Payne's guns as well. Remember how Max Payne utilized 2 guns in bullet time, at least with pistols. So it's another good call out to Max Payne.
Hey, handsome. This is gonna be a long night, but these shots are turning out great.
I guess you're gonna need that coffee then. I'll go put it on.
So now we're going to turn on a coffee maker. Hey look, it looks like they got a new TV as well, but the thing is, it's 3 years ago. Wonder if we can find any other references. Well, the apartments do look like the ones that were in Max Payne at least.
Coffee's on.
Great, thanks. I'll need it if I'm gonna finish this by tomorrow.
Oh, hey, I just finished those cover mock-ups. They're on your desk. Tell me what you think.
No kidding. I didn't think you'd get them done this quickly.
On occasion, I can perform all sorts of miracles, my dear.
Oh, really?
Well, you seemed to think so last night.
There's another call to Max Payne, the painkiller right there. So there's that too. I was wondering if there's any other references to Max Payne around here. Put in here. It's not this radio.
The continuing freezing rain and heavy snowfall have necessitated a winter storm warning in the entire tri-state area. People are advised to stay indoors as many roadways are already closed, and city officials are not expecting snow crews to keep up with the weather. We're now on the third day of the blizzard, and the weather is not expected to clear up anytime soon.
So now New York's experiencing a heavy blizzard, which funny enough is what happened during one of Andy's to Max Payne. And because of that, that's probably why they used this to use callbacks to Max Payne. Same setting, same yeah, basically same setting as Max Payne, basically.
These look really good.
Oh, sure, until Barry gets his hands on them. Which, by the way, will happen over my dead body. The last time was the last time. Oh, and speaking of Barry, he called. Alan! Alan, please check the fuse box.
I'm right here. I'm on it, honey.
Please hurry.
I'm right here, baby.
I'm fine. Just get the lights back on. Now, please.
As you know, I also always had a phobia of the dark, and that's why she can never really handle being in the dark.
I really don't like this, Alan. Please
Honey,
hurry.
it's a power outage. I've got the flashlight.
Okay. Hi.
You okay?
I'm sorry. It just really spooked me.
Don't worry. We'll just break out the candles.
I know it's stupid, but it's just... especially when I'm not prepared for it, you know? It gets to me.
I love you.
Tell me a story, writer.
Okay. I used to have these nightmares when I was a kid. The dark really spooked me, too. When it got really bad, my mom gave me this old light switch. She called it the clicker.
The clicker, huh?
Yeah. If I ever got scared of the dark, I could just flip the switch and a magic light would scare the monsters away.
Oh, sure.
Here it is.
Alan.
Maybe it'll help you, too.
Yeah, nice story, writer boy. You made that up right now, didn't you?
No. Seriously.
I love you, even if you are a liar. Thanks for this.
Bright Falls, the present day.
How do you feel, Mr. Wake? Any nausea, disorientation, anything like that? Mr. Wake, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. My head's fine. I had to lie about my headache and memory loss. He'd send me to a hospital for tests. I couldn't leave without Alice.
Very well. I don't think you have a concussion, but you've obviously been through quite a shock. You should take it easy for a couple of days.
Thanks.
Well then, Mr. Wake, we're done here. If the pain gets any worse or you experience any other symptoms, you should come see me. I'll let you get on with it then. Sarah, Sheriff Breaker, is waiting for you. She's very good at her job. I'm sure she can locate your wife in no time.
Doc Nelson was the image of a small-town doctor. Sheriff Breaker had called him to the station to take a look at the cut in my head. I'm sorry you had to cut your morning fishing short for this, Doc.
Oh, she's a beauty, ain't she? Not the biggest I ever caught, if you can believe that coming from an old fisherman like me, but she's right up there. Now, she's a largemouth bass, which is what you're after if you prefer a lure. Now, if you want either trout or salmon, on the other hand, then it's fly fishing for you. You a fishing man, Mr. Wake? Oh, doesn't really matter, I suppose. But it can be very relaxing out there. You can't get me off the water this time of year. Closest thing to heaven.
I'll take your word for it, Doc.
So now we're in the Bright Falls South Station. As you can tell, weird things are still going on, but we're doing our best to try to figure things out and trying to find Alice, of course.
Thank you for testing the lights, Miss Weaver. Everything seems to be fine.
I don't have the luxury of being complacent, Deputy Grant. The bulbs will need changing soon. You can't change them in the dark.
I'll be sure to take care of it, Miss Weaver. Have a nice day now.
Very good. I'll come back later on to remind you, just in case.
Mr. Wake, the sheriff is waiting for you in her office down the corridor. That was Cynthia Weaver. I guess you can call her the town eccentric. She used to be the editor of the local newspaper, but she's focused on, other things these days.
She'd fit right in where I come from.
As you can see, she's a little obsessed with maintaining the light bulbs of the whole town, refuses to step on shadows, things like that. Back in her day, she wrote about all sorts of weird things in the paper. Bright Falls has a colorful history. Of course, what small town hasn't?
Alright, coffee thermos. And another manuscript page.
Alice looked through the viewfinder, lining up the shot. Cauldron Lake was breathtaking. Something caught her eye. A figure standing in the shadows behind the cabin, like a thin woman in a black dress. She lowered the camera and looked again. No one there. Just a collection of bushes that looked vaguely human-shaped. She shook her head.
So that thin woman in the black dress is a woman you saw. Is a woman who gave Alan Wake the keys to the Cauldron Lake cabin. And it basically kickstarted all of these events. I believe we'll find out more about her as the story goes on.
Yeah, it's Mulligan here. I'm at Stuckey's gas station with Thornton. There's no sign of him. Over.
Wait. Yeah, this is Thornton. Look, we've located the brake float. It's here. That's some good news, right? Stuckey was supposed to be driving it at the rehearsals today. Over.
Oh, give me that. Mulligan here. Looks like someone really thrashed the garage. Over.
Okay, roger that, guys. Keep looking for Stuckey. Jane's out.
So now Stuckey is supposedly missing, even though he was taken by the darkness, as we all know. So now all the police officers are looking for him.
The sheriff wants to see you in her office, Mr. Wake.
Missing: Richard Ball, Bruce Dansky, Jacob Miller. On a camping trip overdue. They haven't been in contact. If you have seen them or know their whereabouts, please call 555-9932. Thank you.
Come in, Mr. Wake. Your phone's on the desk. The battery was dead. It's charged now.
Have you started looking for my wife yet?
My men are already on it. Now, can you tell me what happened?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. We were arguing. I walked out of the cabin.
The cabin on Cauldron Lake? How did you end up at Stuckey's gas station?
I wanted to tell her what had happened last night, but I couldn't. She'd lock me up. Excuse me. I need to take this. Hello?
Alan, please help me.
Alice?
Stop talking to the law. You'll do exactly what I say if you ever want to see your wife again.
Who is this?
Go to the back lot. There's a hole in the fence on the left. Look inside the junker. I left a little something there to convince you we're all on the same page here. After you ditch the cops, you're gonna meet me in Elderwood National Park. There's a spot called Lover's Peak. Midnight. Don't do nothing stupid, pal. We're watching you.
So now Alice has supposedly been kidnapped.
Mr. Wake, can I help you with anything?
I need to get some air. The sheriff said I could go out back.
Of course, Mr. Wake. You can get there through the cell corridor. Just don't mind Walter in there. He's one of our regulars.
I thought he'd quit drinking for good.
Oh, no such luck. He went on a bender and beat Danny pretty badly. He started shouting like that the moment he woke up.
So now Alice,
You can get to the back lot through that door and down the corridor, Mr. Wake.
Can you turn the lights on? The deputies, they don't understand. They won't listen to me. I need it to be bright in here.
Mask page.
Hey, you!
In spite of its human mask, to describe the Dark Presence as intelligent would have implied human qualities on something decidedly inhuman. Nonetheless, it found the one spot in the diner that was dark enough. Some light spilled into the corridor, ravaging it. But it took the pain. Horrible as it was, the writer would soon fix that. He would be coming to the one place where it still had power.
So basically, the Dark Presence, as this darkness is called, is weak to light. As we already know, when you shine a flashlight on enemies, they get hurt. But as it's talking about, the writer would the writer is referencing Alan Wake, and it's also foreshadowing how he would come to the one place that still had power, and the Dark Presence would become stronger. As you may not have realized, the Dark Presence seems to be heavily tied to the story that Alan Wake is writing, and is most likely the antagonist of the story. So honestly, we haven't reached the climax yet. As we all know, every story has a climax. So most likely we'll have to face this Dark Presence in the climax, and the following action would be Alan Wake having to either defeat the Dark Presence or having to run away from it. And I guess we'll see as it keeps going.
Can you help me? Can you turn on? Hey, please help me, man!
The early morning light hurt my eyes and made my head ache. The man on the phone had said, go through the fence on the left.
Well, folks, it's been another long night, and it's about time for me to sign off for a while. God knows I need my beauty sleep. Just one more item before I go. It's been a busy night for the Sheriff's Department. We've had a few broken windows, even a report of shots fired on Main Street. Deputies Mulligan and Thornton had to deal with two intoxicated young men who were celebrating the completion of their Deerfest float. Now, folks, we get this every year. I know it's exciting that the big day's almost here, but let's save it for the party and leave the gunplay for the shooting competition, huh? There's no point in getting all worked up yet.
The caller had told me to find a hole in the fence behind the police station. There was something for me in an abandoned car.
Manuscript page.
The kidnapper fired his gun one last time, and the shadow vanished into the darkness it had come from. See? Nothing to it, Wake. The thought of Alice in his hands was revolting. We stood on the wooden platform of Lover's Peak, the waterfall and the mountain behind us, the lights of the radio mast blinking red in the heights above. I fought with the urge to take a swing, force myself to speak. Let's cut the act now.
As you can tell, it's foreshadowing what's to come in this episode, at least. It's funny how the manuscripts spoil most of the game, but what can you do? I mean, they're interesting to read or at least listen to, because Alan Wake did write all this.
Alice's driver's license had been placed on the front seat. The caller meant business.
Barry?
Ow! Ow! Thank God! Where the hell have you been? I've been trying to reach you for a week, you and Alice. I've been worried sick. I flew out yesterday. I'm here in Bright Falls.
Barry, listen to me. I'm at the sheriff's station. Come and get me. I can't talk now.
Al, what the hell is going on?
I had to get the sheriff to let me go. I needed to get to Elderwood National Park to meet Alice's kidnappers.
A writer is a light that reveals the world of his story from darkness, shapes it from nothingness. The way a sculptor carves a statue from a block of granite. If I stop, the world I'm making dies. Darkness will reclaim it. It's a long, hard journey into the dark. Alice's life is at stake, but I can't think about that, or I'll lose it. The dread lingers at the edge of perception. I'll push on. Anything is possible here. I'll write the story. I'll save her.
So he just saw is the darkness must be the incomplete portions of the story that he has yet to written. Obviously, the darkness refers to when a writer begins to write a story, he forms a story out of pure darkness, or as some people put it, out of thin air. Because of that, he has to keep writing, and he has to get to the end where Alice is supposedly saved. And she supposedly comes back. We don't know if Alice is truly dead at this point, but what we do know is at least in this story, she's been kidnapped. And because of that, we have to go and face her. I mean, not face, save her, rather, from the kidnapper. Now, as we all know, rather, from various TV shows, kidnappers tend to call a victim, demand either ransom or demand to meet them on a certain point at a certain time. And sometimes it's the kidnappee is ransomed back to the victim, or the kidnappee ends up dead. In this case, Alice is hoping that the kidnappee, in this case Alice, is safe and sound and isn't harmed in any way.
Marvelous, Sarah. I just wanted to settle all the damage the Anderson brothers might have inadvertently caused on their recent and regrettable little outing. They are not accountable for their actions, of course. I can assure you that my staff has been reprimanded.
Tor and Odin never caused any trouble to anyone when they were still living at their farm.
Indeed. All we can do is to slow down the progress of their dementia.
Are you feeling any better, Mr. Wake?
I'd like to leave. Am I free to go?
Well, we still need to talk about...
Am I under arrest?
No, of course not. But I need to know where you'll be staying so I can get in touch with you.
I'd avoid the motel. The Majestic is known for its roaches. The cabins at Elderwood are pretty nice, though.
That sounds perfect.
I'm Dr. Emil Hartman. I'd like to invite you to stay at Cauldron Lake Lodge.
Did you talk to my wife?
I had the pleasure of discussing your situation with her on several occasions.
Did you set something up with her?
I invited her here. My clinic is a place where...
Oh, hey! Oh, my! Take it easy.
Hey, nobody move! Get your hands off of my client!
Who are you?
I'm Barry Wheeler, his agent. If you have business with Mr. Wake, you talk to me. You yokels won't know what hit you once I sick my lawyers on your asses.
No harm done, Sarah. I'm all right. I don't want to press charges. Mr. Wake, my offer still stands.
Get me out of here.
What the hell was that about, Al? We don't need a replay of that thing with the paparazzi. I thought they were gonna lock you up.
I had to talk to someone. I told Barry everything. He thought I was certifiable, but when he heard about the manuscript, I had him. The fact that I'd written something, even if I couldn't remember it, was enough for him. He smelled money. And he believed that Alice had been kidnapped. Anything beyond that was another story. I had a midnight appointment with the kidnapper in a place called Lover's Peak, somewhere in Elderwood National Park. The plan was to rent a cabin.
I don't like it, Al. I don't like any of it. It's not good. In fact, it's the absolute opposite of good.
Mr. Wake! Barry, you found him.
Hi, Rose.
Oh, wow. I was just thinking about you, too.
Great.
I was just bringing Rusty some coffee. He's on the balcony, looking after Max. Poor thing. I really need to go. Great to see you again, Mr. Wake. Later!
Who's Max?
What an airhead.
Jeez, Mr. Takes a swing at everybody. This is not her fault. She's a very nice girl and, more importantly, a fan.
Okay, now we're at Elderwood Lodge. And Elderwood Lodge. About to set up an appointment with the kidnapper. The skeleton of a Columbian mammoth, Mammothus columbi. This specimen, estimated to be 14,000 years old, was recovered from the La Brea tar pits in 1981. It was donated to the Elderwood National Park in 1998, when the Columbian mammoth became Washington's state fossil. Named Bucktooth Charlie, it has since become the park's official mascot.
I'd come here to rent a cabin, where I could wait till midnight.
Seriously, Al, what you were saying in the car? Just listen to yourself. What, you shot a guy? And his body just disappeared? When was the last time you slept? What, are you high? Have you been drinking?
No! Look, Barry, I'm missing a week, and someone's got Alice, and everything's just—
Do you understand what it sounds like when you say stuff like that? Don't get me wrong, it's a good story, could be a bestseller. But when you start confusing fiction with reality, you're buying yourself a ticket to the funny farm.
Wait here.
Now, a coffee thermos.
Easy there, boy. I'm almost done.
Hey, Rusty, right? You rent cabins.
Oh, Mr. Wake. I'd shake your hand, but mine are kind of full here. Actually, I'm sorry about this. Would you mind grabbing the registration form from the desk? It's just across from Bucktooth Charlie.
Okay, sure. What happened?
Crazy poachers. Max here got his foot caught in a trap. They're illegal to use here. Hell, you're not supposed to hunt within the park at all. But that doesn't stop some lowlifes. Well, at least Max is gonna be okay. He got lucky. Max is still groggy from the shot I gave him, and I'd rather not leave him alone just yet. The form's on the desk across from the mammoth skeleton.
Seriously, Al, you can't just go and meet a kidnapper. Those situations always end up in disaster. You gotta talk to the cops.
She's my wife, and it's my call. Can we talk about this later?
No. This whole thing... Listen, you hit your head. I mean, geez, Al, come on. You gotta understand how crazy all this sounds. If you're trying to pull a joke on me, freak me out, it's working. Ha ha, let's have a laugh on Barry. Well, you had me going there real funny, Al. You can quit it now.
I think this is the form you wanted.
And here are the keys. Okay, you're all set, Mr. Wake. Glad to have you staying here.
Thanks. Can you tell me how to get to Lover's Peak?
Oh, sure. It's at the end of the nature trail. Just follow the paths, you'll get to it eventually. It's an easy walk. Nice spot, too. If you have any trouble finding it, just keep your eyes on the radio mast. It's right below that. Oh, and hey, if you take a walk in the woods, watch your steps so you don't end up like Max. I guess I'm a little worried. We got a bunch of campers out there we haven't heard from. It's not like these people are on a schedule, but with the traps, well, you know. I just don't want any trouble.
Right. Thanks.
Look, Al, you're asking me to believe that you shot a dude who went poof into thin air, a guy who was bulletproof until you pointed a flashlight at him. You hear that from people who end up spending time in padded rooms, strapped to their beds, wearing white shirts with too long tangled up sleeves, and eating a healthy diet of pills. Al, you make cruel jokes about people who believe that kind of stuff. You're the skeptic. You gave me an hour-long lecture on homeopathy last month. What was it? If there's no proof, it's pure bullshit. Period.
Guess the laugh's on me then.
Al, come on! I mean, okay. Okay, maybe something weird happened to you, okay?
Well, thanks for the heartfelt vote of confidence.
All I'm saying is you gotta throw me a bone here, bestseller. What would you think if it was me? There's no way you should be going out at midnight with a gun.
No one asked you to come here, Barry. Either work with me on this or go straight back to New York. Your choice.
That's just crazy talk, Al. Al? Al? We should go to the sheriff or call the FBI.
Damn it, Barry, they'll kill her! This is not a goddamn debate, Barry. I'm going to Lover's Peak. He said to come alone.
Okay then. I understand. But you're my best friend and I'm worried that you're not right in the head. Tell me what to do to help and I'll do it.
You stay here, and if I'm not back by morning, call the cavalry.
Achoo! Achoo!
Just be careful with the natives, Al. These yokels are dangerous. Everybody hates a tourist, or it'll be Deliverance all over again.
Achoo!
Bless you.
Oh, this place is trying to kill me. I'll bet there's mold in here, spores, poison ivy, God knows what. This is so not worth a 15% commission.
Batteries, coffee thermos. Nutty coffee thermos.
I'll wait here, Al. I'll hold down the fort. I'll be with you in spirit every step of the way, Al. Locking the door now.
And that about does it for this episode of Let's Play Alan Wake. Sorry for the fact there is a rather lengthy episode, but the fact that the morning portions are all rather lengthy story elements, there is no way I could just gotten rid of this, stop this episode of Let's Play until we got to the night sections. So I hope to see you again on Let's Play Alan Wake.